At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Well, happy hump day to you all. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 7 a.m. So glad you could join us this morning. It turned out to be another gorgeous day out there yesterday. The winds are starting to die down for areas that have been dealing with the gusty winds over the last few days. So that overall trend is continuing downward with those winds, making for some gorgeous winter days. Now, again, despite the fact that we need the rainfall, it has been absolutely gorgeous out there. And I say need the rainfall. We don't necessarily need it at this point. We're doing okay here, at least here in Northern California. But as you start heading southward, central, Southern California, below normal for the rainfall, below normal for the snowpack. So we could certainly use more rain, more snow in the forecast. Let's get you to Krueger's Quickcast for those of you that are in a hurry this morning and just want a quick look at what's going on here with the weather. So for your Wednesday, January 15th, we're looking at the current temperatures out there right now. Mid to upper 30s. As I mentioned, as those winds start to die down, especially in the morning hours, that's going to allow for some colder temperatures in the morning. We could see some patchy frost even for parts of the valley this morning. You have to get down to about 34, 35. You might start seeing some of that frost. So it's getting borderline for some of us in the valley. Otherwise, you're in the 20s for most of the higher elevations this morning with 20 degrees in Alturas, 30 in Mount Shasta City, and upper 30s to even upper 40s, depending on where you are on the coast. Out the door this morning, again, a chilly start. 8 o'clock this morning, you should be looking at temperature of about 42 degrees in the valley, in the mid to upper 20s for most of the higher elevations, although in Siskiyou County, low 30s and mid 30s out in Trinity County at 8 o'clock this morning. Still have the beach hazard statement until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Sneaker waves, those are the biggest concern here through at least the mid-afternoon hours. That big ridge of high pressure I've been talking about, it's getting even stronger and becoming a little bit more prominent. You can clearly see that arc in the clouds over the eastern Pacific and western United States. But another thing that I want to kind of point out here, look at the milky color that we have over the western United States. That's not cloud cover. What that is the cold air at the surface. You see, the satellite image, this is known as the infrared satellite image. It detects the temperatures in the clouds. So it has different, a color table, if you will. So when you start seeing the brighter colors of white, those are the colder cloud tops. When you start getting into those gray colors and those milky colors, those are the quote-unquote warmer clouds. Now, again, because we're not dealing with clouds, it's just cold, the satellite image is detecting the colder air that we have over the western United States in general. Now, the wind's a little breezy in some spots here, especially for some of the foothills east of the valley, but overall, the winds are not that bad out there this morning. And there you can see as we take you through the afternoon today, we're generally going to be below 10 miles per hour in most cases this afternoon and evening. Now again, you can see some of those exposed mountain ridge tops upwards of around 20 miles per hour, so a bit breezy for some of those areas, but otherwise not that bad. Taking a look at what it looks like out there for today, temperatures in the low to mid 60s in the valley. 64 degrees for Redding, 42 degrees for Lassen Park, 51 in Aden and El Tourist, and those mid 50s as we take you out along the coast. Looking at that 7-day outlook for the valley, temperatures will slowly drop. We're down to about 60 degrees, give or take, over the weekend. And for your Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a high of about 57 degrees, 58 by Tuesday. Let's take you out to the coast, inland, and for Trinity County. Also seeing that dip in the temperatures here, warming back up again, actually, as we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week. However, we look at the mountains, Siskiyou, Modoc, Eastern Mountains. Now, look at the weekend. We're looking at temperatures low to mid 40s on average, except for Mount Shasta, you're actually in mid to upper 40s. But for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, El Tourist, Susanville, you're only getting the upper 30s, low 40s for places like Mount Shasta. And then, of course, you can see by Tuesday, we're starting to warm back up again. So turning out to be kind of a cold start to next week. So again, there's a look at that satellite image here. We're going to take a look at Lake Oroville and look at that. Absolutely gorgeous start to the morning here out at Lake Oroville. That's the kind of the live stream there. We also take a look at North Forebay. The sunrise not as prominent there, at least doesn't look as gorgeous, but still you can see the clear skies. And number two, we can see the calmer winds. And one of those indications is the fact that, number one, you can't see that orange ribbon blowing in the wind. But number two, you look at the lake and it looks like glass because there's no wind blowing over that lake this morning. Here's a look at Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Traffic is flowing smoothly there. That's also the case, most likely, haven't checked it out yet, on Highway 99 at Neal Road. Off in the distance, you can see some of the headlights that are approaching. Just some of your regular traffic, probably stopped at a stoplight. And of course now the green light, getting that traffic moving again. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive in Redding. Doesn't look like we have a whole lot going on traffic-wise there either. Take a look at this. If you look closely, because it's still kind of in the black and white mode because it's kind of still dark out there, you can see the elk hanging out. Now, of course, as you know, this is the camera known as the Elk Country camera. This is just north of Trinidad. And you will see, if you look closely, you can see it closely there. If you look, the elk are just hanging out in that field around that red schoolhouse. So kind of living up to its name as Elk Country out there this morning. And we also have a shot coming in from Crescent City. Here's a gorgeous shot here. It looks like a boat had just kind of gone out, creating a little few ripples in the water. You can see that semi-full moon out there. And just turning out to be a gorgeous start to the day out there. Let's take a look at some other cameras too. Of course, we're going to take you back so we can do the transition here. But I'm going to take you to the Sundial Bridge Drive. Let's see if that's loading up. I had some problems with it yesterday. Let's see if we can get it to load up. Yeah, looks like it's still down this morning. Let's see if we can take a look at the camera out at Mount Shasta and see how it looks out there this morning. Of course, as you know, we haven't seen much in the way of snow. Oh, well, there we go. There's a look at it right now. You can see, I mean, again, so we haven't seen much snow up there, but I do know this. I've seen the snow machines kind of strategically placed around the ski park. I saw that earlier this week. And you can see here, still looks like there's plenty of snow up there. So we don't have to worry about, you know, chipping up on the rocks there or anything or getting in the dirt. Looks like everything is A-okay when it comes to everything out at the ski park there. All right, we're back at Elk Country here, and we are going to see if we can get rid of that there. There we go, kind of doing some tasks here. There we go. All right, well, let's check in with some of you out there this morning, see how you're doing this morning. Got some of our regulars checking in. We have got Shelly Buell. Let's see here. She's saying, good morning, Mike. It's been a bit for me checking in, but very chilly up here in the mountains. 28 degrees. I'm enjoying my coffee. Are you? Have a great Wednesday. Yes. Actually, what I started doing is I have my first cup of coffee early in the morning when I start doing my forecast. I haven't been feeling 100% since I got back from the trip. I mean, I'm feeling fine. But so one of the things that I'm starting to do as part of my routine is I'm starting some hot lemon water with a little bit of honey. And I tell you what, it's actually pretty good. This may become part of my normal morning routine. So again, the typical cup of coffee, get that caffeine fix early in the morning. And then I start with some lemon water and some honey. And I tell you what, it tastes pretty good. And it's supposed to help with your immune system and all that good stuff. So, you know, we're checking out. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I hope, and I'm glad you are too, Shelley. Let's go and take a look at this. Burr, good morning. Have a great Wednesday. That's coming in from James. We got Curtis Brown in Red Bluff saying, good morning, everyone. Chilly and clear here this morning. No wind to speak of. Well, that's what it looked like. Yeah, the winds are certainly dying down. That's really good to see that. We got Bill Carlton. We've also got Tim Frazier saying, good morning, everyone. Enjoy your coffee and enjoy your Wednesday. We've got Catherine Schmidt saying, it's been in the teens for the last several mornings. It's 22 degrees. So much warmer. Well, yeah, I mean, at least it's not in the teens. But yeah, the breeze is picking up. Okay, interesting. So we are still seeing some of those breezy conditions, it looks like, for some of those mountain areas and foothill locations east of the valley. And it's not just the exposed mountain ridgetops, but I think even some of those valleys, you start to see some of that wind filter through there as well. So that still seems to have been a bit of a nuisance for you up there as well. We've got Mark Olson saying, good morning, Mike. He's also saying, like no wind. Yeah, nobody likes the wind. I mean, the wind is just a nuisance. And the wind, you know, we don't like the wind around here because it creates problems with fires and the works like they are seeing there in Southern California. So it is no bueno. Well, what do you say we get to our deeper dive forecast and kind of go into more details with the forecast here for those of you that want more detail. And as you know, Coffee with Krueger is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of special promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's take a look at those current conditions out there right now. And again, it's a chilly start to the day as those winds have subsided for most of the valley. We're down in the mid to upper 30s this morning because there could be some areas in the valley that may be dealing with some of that patchy frost too. 20 degrees for Alturas, 23 degrees for Susanville, 25 in Quincy, 30 for Mount Shasta City, upper 30s and even some upper 40s depending where you are on the coast. So cool mornings and mild afternoons. That's the story for the rest of the week, this weekend, and most likely through a good portion of next week. Gusty winds may return this weekend into early next week. I'm not expecting wind advisory criteria, but the winds are expected to pick back up again sometime this weekend. Rain near the end of the month. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail here in a second. Let's start, though, by starting off with Southern California. 18% Palisades fire, 35% contained. The Eaton fire and the Hearst fire is 97% contained. We're not seeing any oranges or reds on the map here indicating no recent activity coming in from the fires, so that certainly is good. We still have, unfortunately, the red flag warning until 6 o'clock this afternoon and evening for the areas in red, and the areas in blue is where we still have that wind advisory for today. So let's take a look at those winds. What can we expect? Noon today, there we still have those gusty winds, and it is your typical Santa Ana wind. You see how it's all coming in from the northeast, working its way down to the south and west, working its way down the mountains. That the air going down those mountains, what it does is that once it goes down the mountains, it compresses and heats up. So it tends to warm up and dry things out as well. So that's what we're looking at here again, unfortunately, for today. But look at this. Look at Thursday. We're seeing those winds really dying down significantly. So that is a huge help for the firefighters. But it's going to be a brief break because even though it's not going to be as strong as we're dealing with, we're seeing those winds most likely picking back up again as we go into your Friday and most likely even into this upcoming weekend. Now, the fire weather risk takes into account temperature, wind, and humidity. Now, since we're not dealing with hot temperatures, that's taken out of this equation, but we still are well within that yellow color, indicating we still have that high fire danger through the day today. Now, by Thursday, mainly just that green color, and by Friday, we're starting to see a little bit more yellows popping up because, again, those winds are starting to kind of pick back up again, looks like for your Friday afternoon. Meanwhile, we take you back home here in Northern California, where we do have the calm winds in the valley, a little gusty, a little breezy. And I did get some confirmed reports for those of you that are watching this morning that it's a little breezy in some spots this morning, east of the valley and some of the foothills and some of those higher elevations. But overall, the winds are fairly calm. And today, the winds aren't going to be all that bad either. We can see some of those exposed mountain ridge tops upwards of around 20 miles per hour, but overall the winds are dying down for your Wednesday. And how about your Thursday? Same situation. The wind's going to be much calmer. And that's going to extend into Friday as well. However, by the time we get into Friday night and into Saturday, that may change a bit. Still have the big ridge of high pressure right here. You see the arc in the clouds? Those are the clouds, the rain, all of that energy moving up and over that ridge of high pressure, and we are left with sunny skies and, of course, the calm winds. We're also left, unfortunately, with dry conditions. Now, a couple of things we're going to show you with the futurecast here, and that is the fact that it will remain dry well into next week. But a couple of things as these disturbances move up and over the ridge and then kind of dive down to the south and east, we see the winds begin to pick up a little bit here. Now, for Friday, as you saw in Futurecast, winds won't be that strong, and I'm not expecting them to get much stronger. However, you'll notice the winds are picking up toward north and east in the Pacific Northwest. You see how the tighter, where we have these lines here, when they're tightly packed, that's where you see the stronger winds. They're isobars, called pressure gradients. Okay, let's fix your hair. Got a little, I've been working with my hairdresser to try to see if we can fix that because it tends to want to stick up there in that one little spot. Anyway, there you can see the winds. So again, the strongest winds here, the tightly packed isobars, this is where we have the strongest winds. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, all of these areas toward north and east could be looking at gusty winds for Friday. But look at Saturday. We're going to start to see that kind of push down a little bit closer to us. So we're starting to see, again, the stronger winds toward north and east, but some of those winds are kind of spilling over into Northern California by Saturday, Sunday, and possibly even into Monday. Then going into Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, those winds should start to subside and shouldn't be much of a problem. Maybe some clouds moving in, but still looking at high pressure in place, keeping any rain off to our west and preventing it from moving in anytime soon. So we continue with the dry conditions. Drier than normal conditions are in the forecast here when we look at that precipitation outlook, at least by the time we get into around January 25th. All right, so we took a look at the snowpack yesterday. We also looked at what the lake levels are doing. We're going to take a look at the rainfall for the season. Now for us here in Northern California, most, if not all of us, are at least 100% above normal where we should be. In fact, anywhere from 100 to 151% of where we should be. Red Bluff 151, 136% of normal for Redding. But kind of covered up by the, and I'll see if I can take that out here. There you can see South Lake Tahoe, 4.6 inches of rain so far. And again, this is for the rain season for us, right? So you can see here, October 1st is when that rain season starts. So since October 1st of 2024, this is how much rain all these areas have seen. The least amount has been in South Lake Tahoe, only 56% of average. So what's interesting is, for the most part, we're above normal for the season here in Northern California, say basically north of Sacramento, all the way up to the state line to Oregon. However, when you start heading into the Sacramento region southward, we start seeing less and less of these 100% of average to below 100%. And that continues to drop even lower as we start getting into Southern California. So we're looking pretty good here in Northern California, but our neighbors to the south, not faring as well as we are in that rain department. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look now at the lake levels. And again, we're still looking pretty healthy there as well. At least 125% when we're talking about the historical average. So the lakes are still looking very healthy as well. That ski report, as mentioned, you saw the what it looks like right now on the Mount Shasta Ski Park. Still looks pretty good at 100% open. Now, we still have the beach hazard statement. This is something that's been in effect since Monday, and we're still seeing it in effect until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And the main reason for the beach hazard statement risk for sneaker waves. What are those? Some of you may be asking. Well, you know, you're at the beach, you're on the ocean, everything looks normal. Then suddenly there's a big rush of water that comes in out of nowhere. Those are called sneaker waves because you can't see them coming. And before you know it, you're hanging out on the shore, maybe you're rock hopping. That rush of water, unexpected rush of water, comes and gets you and it sweeps you under your feet. You fall, you can get swept into the ocean, it can become a very dangerous situation. And if you're rock hopping, it's even more dangerous because you got those sharp rocks. I've seen footage of people getting caught by these sneaker waves unexpectedly. It does not look good, my friends. So you got to take these beach hazard statements seriously. All right, so here's the wave heights. You can see as we go this afternoon, not looking all that bad. We start to see it retreat even as we go into Thursday, so conditions are looking pretty good for those of you that need to be on your small fishing boats. So here's your marine forecast for your Wednesday. South winds at 5 to 10 knots. There's your waves. There's your high and low tide, and no advisories are in the forecast. So here's what it looks like for your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures are going to generally be in the upper 50s to some low 60s. You look at the 7-day forecast not only for Trinity County, but everywhere in Northern California. It's dry, and it will stay dry. 56 degrees for Wildwood, 63 for Ruth, and Med River a high today of about 59 degrees. Let's take you down to southern Humboldt County, where we've got 61 degrees for Red Crest, as well as Garberville, and 58 degrees in Shelter Cove. It looks like Ferndale about 60, 61 for Fortuna, and 62 for Hydesville and Rio Dell. We take you up north, 65 for Willow Creek, 59 for Trinidad, 60 in Blue Lake, and 63 degrees in Hoopa. Smith River, a high of 61, 59 for Gas Key, and Oric, a high of about 60 degrees. Take you to Siskiyou County, where we've got temperatures in the mid to upper 50s along the Highway 96 corridor. A little bit cooler for I-5 there. Temperatures in the low 50s. Mid to upper 50s for Scott Valley with 44 degrees for Fort Jones, as well as Greenview. Etna about 46, and Callahan a high today of about 49 degrees. Let's take you out towards central and eastern Siskiyou County, where we got 50 in Tule Lake, 52 for Tennant, 55 degrees for Dunsmuir and McLeod, about 57 degrees. And we take you out to Modoc County with 48 degrees for Newell, 50 in El Tourist, 51 for Aden, and 46 degrees in Cedarville. Here's your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. 51 degrees out in Bieber, 53 for Fall River Mills and Paynes Creek, about 59. And just like everyone else, it's dry for the next 7 days. Looking at Lake Elminor and Lassen Park. Around the perimeter of the lake, mid to upper 40s for your daytime highs. Let's take you down to the south, where Paradise, you'll see a high of about 59 degrees, 43 in Doyle, and 46 degrees in Susanville. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast, brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Your temperature should be in the low 60s for your daytime highs, although a bit warmer in Elk Creek at about 65, and Pasquenta about 64 degrees. 64 for the city of Shasta Lake, as well as Redding, 64 in Palisadro and Cottonwood, and 63 degrees in Whiskeytown. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. And what we've got here, temperatures slowly dropping. We're down to about 60 by Friday, Saturday, and even cooler by the time we get into Sunday, Monday in the upper 50s. So yeah, we're going to see a slight drop in our temperatures, and it may start to slowly warm back up as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But I do expect to see plenty of sunshine in the forecast, and I don't expect any chances for rain to make their way here anytime soon. So that's going to do it for your Coffee with Krueger out there this morning. Hope you're having yourselves a great start to your day. I'm enjoying my lemon water with some honey. Of course, I had my coffee earlier this morning. Tell you what, that's actually pretty good. And it's supposed to kind of help your immune system as well. So that's going to do it for us this morning. What do you say we get you out to some of those cameras out there this morning and see what it looks like out at Lake Oroville? Looks absolutely gorgeous this morning. There's a look at the spillway. Looks a little wet, but that's usually typically to be expected. And you can see the beautiful sunrise picture reflecting off of the sheen coming off of the spillway there this morning. Let's see if we can wait until it moves to another camera. Oh, that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Taking a look at Lake Oroville off the distance, we've got some beautiful colors there. Well, that's going to do it for us this morning. Thank you again for so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger starting at 7 a.m. Until then, have yourselves a great day.